The Scraper's Edge, a data maverick's quest for sustainable success. Chapter 1. The Genesis of an Obsession. The fluorescent lights of the corporate office hummed their familiar tune as Alex stared at the endless stream of code on the monitor. It was 2018, 5 years into what most would consider a successful IT career, but something felt fundamentally wrong. The work was stable, the paycheck reliable, yet every day felt like a slow surrender to mediocrity. It was during one particularly mundane afternoon, while debugging yet another legacy system, that Alex stumbled upon something that would change everything: web scraping. What started as a simple Stack Overflow search for extracting data from a problematic API quickly spiraled into hours of fascination. Here was a skill that felt like digital archaeology, uncovering hidden treasures buried in the vast expanse of the internet. The first successful scrape was intoxicating. A simple Python script that extracted product prices from an e-commerce site, running silently in the background while Alex pretended to work on assigned tasks. The data flowed in neat columns, patterns emerging from what seemed like chaos. It was like having a superpower, the ability to see through the polished facades of websites and extract their raw, valuable essence. Evenings that once disappeared into Netflix binges now belonged to web scraping tutorials. Alex devoured every resource available: documentation for Beautiful Soup and ScrapePie, forum discussions about rotating proxies, articles on handling JavaScript-heavy sites with Selenium. The learning curve was steep, but each breakthrough felt like unlocking a new level in a game where the prize was pure information. The obsession deepened when Alex realized the sheer volume of valuable data hiding in plain sight. Restaurant reviews that revealed market trends, job postings that exposed salary patterns, social media mentions that predicted stock movements. The possibilities seemed endless. What had started as curiosity was evolving into something much more significant: a vision of data as the new oil, waiting to be refined and sold to those who knew its value. Chapter 2. From Hobbyist to Content Creator. By 2021, Alex's hard drive was bursting with scraped datasets, each one a testament to countless late nights spent perfecting extraction algorithms. The knowledge accumulated through 3 years of obsessive learning felt too valuable to keep locked away. Friends and colleagues had begun seeking Alex's advice on data extraction problems, and the same questions kept arising. How do you handle anti-bot measures? What's the best way to scale scraping operations? How do you ensure data quality? The decision to start a blog felt natural, almost inevitable. The Scraper's Edge launched on a modest WordPress hosting plan, with Alex's first post titled, "Why Web Scraping is the Skill of the Future." The writing came surprisingly easily. Years of internal monologue about scraping techniques translated into clear, actionable content that resonated with readers facing similar challenges. The blog grew organically. Traffic came from developers searching for solutions to specific scraping problems, drawn by Alex's practical approach and willingness to share actual code examples. Unlike the theoretical tutorials that dominated the space, Alex's content was battle-tested, born from real-world scraping projects that had faced every possible obstacle. Comments began pouring in from readers grateful for the depth of explanation, the honest discussion of ethical considerations, and the frank acknowledgement that web scraping existed in a legal gray area that required careful navigation. Alex had found a voice, authoritative yet approachable, technical yet accessible to newcomers. The blog's success planted a seed of possibility. Here was proof that Alex's expertise had market value beyond the confines of a corporate cubicle. Readers weren't just consuming content. They were engaging, sharing their own experiences, and, most importantly, expressing willingness to pay for more advanced guidance. A year later, Alex took the next logical step: YouTube. The Scraper's Edge channel launched with a comprehensive series on building scalable scraping architectures. The medium suited Alex perfectly. Complex concepts could be demonstrated in real time. Viewers could see code execution and debug processes, and the comment section became a thriving community of data enthusiasts. The first video to break 10,000 views was "Scraping Amazon Without Getting Banned," a title that perfectly captured the balance between valuable information and ethical boundaries that defined Alex's brand. The video's success wasn't just measured in views. Job offers began arriving via LinkedIn, consulting opportunities emerged through email, and a growing audience started asking the question that would shape everything. Do you sell the data you scrape? Chapter 3. The Eureka Moment. The revelation came during a particularly productive weekend scraping session in early 2022. Alex was working on a project to aggregate pricing data from various online retailers, primarily for personal investment research. The script had been running for hours, methodically collecting product information, prices, inventory levels, and customer reviews from dozens of e-commerce sites. As Alex reviewed the compiled dataset, patterns began emerging that were invisible when looking at individual websites. Price discrepancies that revealed arbitrage opportunities, inventory movements that predicted market trends, review sentiment that exposed quality issues before they became widespread problems. This wasn't just data, it was intelligence. The epiphany struck with crystal clarity. Businesses would pay significant money for this level of market insight. While competitors were flying blind, making decisions based on limited internal data and expensive market research reports, Alex could provide real-time, comprehensive intelligence that revealed the actual state of various markets. The transition from collecting data for personal use to building a data business required a fundamental shift in approach. Instead of scraping whatever seemed interesting, Alex began thinking like a customer. What decisions did businesses struggle to make due to lack of information? What data existed publicly but was too scattered or difficult to aggregate for most companies to access? The first product took shape around real estate data. Property listings, price histories, market trends, demographic information. All publicly available but scattered across hundreds of websites and municipal databases. Alex spent months building scrapers that could aggregate this information into clean, actionable datasets that real estate investors, developers, and agents could use to make informed decisions. The pricing model was subscription-based, $400 per month for access to comprehensive real estate data covering major metropolitan areas. It seemed reasonable, less than what most companies would spend on a single employee's lunch budget, yet providing information that could influence million-dollar investment decisions. Finding the first customer, however, proved to be an entirely different challenge. Chapter 4. The Marketing Gauntlet. With a polished product and unwavering confidence in its value, Alex naively expected customers to appear organically. The blog had thousands of readers, the YouTube channel was growing steadily, and the data product seemed obviously valuable. Surely, word of mouth would drive initial sales, which would then fund more sophisticated marketing efforts. Reality delivered a harsh lesson. Despite having built an audience around web scraping expertise, the overlap between content consumers and data customers was surprisingly small. Blog readers wanted to learn scraping techniques, not purchase scraped data. YouTube viewers were interested in tutorials, not subscription services. Alex faced the classic entrepreneur's dilemma: how to acquire customers for a product that didn't yet have market validation or customer testimonials. Every marketing channel seemed to require significant upfront investment with uncertain returns. Cold email was the first approach, methodical, scalable, and measurable. Alex spent weeks building lists of potential customers: real estate investment firms, property management companies, market research agencies. Each email was carefully crafted, personalized with specific pain points that the data could solve, and A/B tested for optimal response rates. The results were simultaneously encouraging and terrifying. Response rates were decent. Around 3% of recipients engaged with the emails, but converting interest into paying customers required extensive follow-up, detailed demonstrations, and often custom data samples that took hours to prepare. After 6 weeks of intensive cold outreach, Alex had sent nearly 2,000 emails and acquired exactly one customer. The cost analysis was sobering. Between the time spent building prospect lists, crafting emails, managing follow-ups, and creating custom demonstrations, acquiring that single $400 per month customer had cost approximately $3,000 in opportunity cost alone. Even accounting for the customer's lifetime value, the economics were challenging. Facebook ads promised better targeting and scalability. Alex invested $2,500 in a carefully crafted campaign targeting real estate professionals, property investors, and business intelligence managers. The ads drove traffic to a landing page optimized for conversion, complete with data samples and customer testimonials, borrowed from blog readers who had praised Alex's content. The campaign generated substantial interest, hundreds of clicks, dozens of email signups, and several demo requests. But converting digital engagement into paying customers proved even more difficult than cold email. The self-serve nature of online advertising attracted tire kickers and bargain hunters rather than serious business customers willing to pay premium prices for quality data. After 3 months of Facebook advertising, Alex had acquired 2 new customers at a combined cost of nearly $4,000. The math was brutal. Spending $2,000 to acquire an $400 per month customer meant waiting 5 months just to break even, assuming perfect retention. LinkedIn outreach felt more promising, given the professional context and ability to target specific roles and industries. Alex crafted connection requests and follow-up messages that felt personal rather than sales-focused, building relationships before introducing the data product. This approach yielded better conversion rates, but required even more time investment. Each successful customer acquisition involved weeks of relationship building, multiple touchpoints, and extensive consultative selling. By the end of 2022, Alex had acquired 8 customers through various marketing channels, but the acquisition cost remained stubbornly high. The experience was emotionally draining. Each rejection felt personal, each failed campaign like a referendum on the business model itself. Alex began questioning fundamental assumptions. Was the product valuable enough? Was the pricing appropriate? Were the target customers correct? Despite the challenges, the existing customers provided crucial validation. They consistently renewed their subscriptions, often requested additional data sources, and occasionally referred other potential customers. The product clearly delivered value to those who used it. The challenge was finding more customers without bankrupting the business in the process. Chapter 5. The Pivot Point. The beginning of 2023 brought a crucial realization that would reshape Alex's entire approach. While analyzing customer usage patterns and feedback, a clear trend emerged. The highest value customers weren't using the broad, generic datasets that Alex had initially focused on. Instead, they were most interested in highly specific, niche information that directly supported their immediate business needs. A real estate development firm wasn't just interested in general market trends. They needed granular data about specific neighborhoods, including permit applications, zoning changes, and demographic shifts. A property management company didn't want comprehensive citywide rental data. They needed detailed information about properties within their specific portfolios and immediate competitive markets. This insight triggered a fundamental shift in strategy. Instead of trying to build broad datasets that appealed to large markets, Alex began focusing on high-value, specialized data products that solved specific problems for smaller, more targeted customer segments. The first iteration of this new approach focused on real estate investors looking for off-market opportunities. Alex developed a scraping system that aggregated data from county records, court filings, and various public databases to identify properties that were likely to become available for sale before they hit the traditional market. Foreclosure filings, estate proceedings, tax delinquencies, permit applications for major renovations, all signals that a property owner might be motivated to sell. The targeting was laser-focused. Real estate investors who specifically looked for off-market deals and had the capital to act quickly on opportunities. The value proposition was clear and quantifiable. Instead of competing with dozens of other buyers on listed properties, subscribers could identify and approach motivated sellers before the competition even knew these opportunities existed. The pricing reflected the specialized nature of the service. $1,200 per month for access to off-market opportunity data in major metropolitan areas. The higher price point meant Alex needed fewer customers to achieve meaningful revenue, and the specialized nature of the data made the service much harder for competitors to replicate. Customer acquisition for this focused product was dramatically different. Instead of casting wide nets through cold email and digital advertising, Alex could identify potential customers with surgical precision. real estate investment groups that advertised their interest in off-market deals, investors who had recently closed on multiple properties, wholesalers who specialized in finding opportunities for other investors. The sales conversations were transformed as well. Instead of trying to convince prospects that they needed data, Alex was speaking with people who already understood the value of information and were actively seeking competitive advantages. The question wasn't whether they needed data, it was whether Alex's specific data was superior to their existing sources. Within 3 months of launching the off-market opportunities product, Alex had acquired 12 customers at the higher price point. More importantly, these customers were expanding their subscriptions, requesting coverage of additional markets, and referring colleagues who had similar needs. The referral phenomenon was particularly valuable. When a customer made $50,000 profit on a deal that originated from Alex's data, they were motivated to share that success with trusted colleagues. Word-of-mouth marketing in niche communities proved far more effective than any paid advertising campaign. By mid-2023, monthly recurring revenue had grown to $18,000, primarily from the focused real estate data products. The business was finally generating enough profit to support Alex's lifestyle while reinvesting in product development and gradual team expansion. Chapter 6: The Leap of Faith. July 2023 marked a pivotal moment that had been building for months. The data business was generating consistent revenue, customer retention rates were excellent, and the pipeline of potential new customers was healthier than ever. More importantly, Alex had developed systems and processes that reduced the day-to-day operational burden, creating space to think strategically about growth rather than just survival. The decision to leave traditional employment wasn't spontaneous. It was the culmination of careful financial planning and risk assessment. Alex had built a 6-month expense buffer, mapped out various growth scenarios, and identified specific milestones that would indicate whether the transition was succeeding or needed to be reversed. The psychological aspect of the transition proved more challenging than the financial considerations. After a decade of steady paychecks and predictable routines, the uncertainty of entrepreneurship felt both exhilarating and terrifying. There were no more comfortable corporate safety nets, no more guaranteed income, regardless of performance. The first month of full-time entrepreneurship was a revelation. Without the mental energy consumed by corporate responsibilities, Alex could dedicate complete focus to customer needs, product development, and strategic planning. Response times to customer inquiries improved dramatically, leading to higher satisfaction and retention rates. New opportunities became visible that had been impossible to pursue while balancing full-time employment. A large real estate investment fund approached Alex about developing a custom data product that would require significant development effort, the kind of project that would have been impossible to undertake while working another job. The custom project became a watershed moment for the business. The investment fund needed comprehensive data about commercial real estate opportunities across secondary markets, areas that weren't well covered by traditional data providers but represented significant investment opportunities for funds with specialized knowledge. Alex spent 2 months developing a scraping infrastructure that aggregated data from hundreds of sources: commercial real estate listings, municipal permit databases, economic development websites, demographic data sources, and business registration records. The resulting dataset provided unprecedented visibility into commercial real estate opportunities in overlooked markets. The custom project generated $25,000 in upfront revenue and led to a $3,000 per month ongoing subscription for regular data updates. More importantly, it demonstrated Alex's ability to tackle complex, high-value projects that justified premium pricing. Word of the successful custom implementation spread through the investment fund's network, leading to inquiries from other institutional investors who had similar data needs. Within 6 months of leaving traditional employment, Alex was managing custom projects and subscriptions that generated over $35,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Chapter 7: The Scaling Challenge. Success brought new challenges that Alex hadn't anticipated. As customer base grew and data requirements became more complex, the informal systems that had worked for a small operation began showing strain. Scraping jobs that once ran reliably began failing more frequently as target websites implemented anti-bot measures. Customer support requests that Alex had personally handled were consuming increasing amounts of time. The realization that the business needed to evolve beyond a one-person operation was both exciting and daunting. Hiring employees meant fixed costs, management responsibilities, and the complexity of building systems that others could operate and maintain. Alex's first hire was a junior developer with strong Python skills and an interest in web scraping. The onboarding process revealed gaps in documentation and systematization that Alex had never noticed while working alone. Code that seemed obvious to its original author required extensive explanation for someone else to understand and maintain. The exercise of teaching someone else to manage the scraping infrastructure forced Alex to develop better practices around code organization, error handling, and monitoring. What had been an informal collection of scripts evolved into a proper software system with logging, alerting, and automated recovery mechanisms. Customer acquisition continued to improve as the business developed more sophisticated marketing approaches. Instead of generic outreach, Alex began creating highly targeted content that addressed specific pain points of ideal customers. A detailed case study about how off-market data had helped an investor acquire a property 15% below market value generated more qualified leads than months of cold outreach. Speaking engagements at real estate investment meetups and industry conferences established Alex as a recognized expert in the intersection of data and real estate investing. These appearances didn't directly generate customers, but they built credibility and trust that made subsequent sales conversations much more effective. The business began attracting customers through inbound channels, referrals from existing customers, inquiries from website visitors, and contacts made through Alex's speaking engagements. This shift from outbound to inbound marketing dramatically improved the economics of customer acquisition while attracting higher quality prospects who already understood the value proposition. By early 2024, monthly recurring revenue had reached $48,000, with over 60% of new customers coming through referrals or inbound inquiries. The business had achieved the scale that Alex had dreamed about during those early days of expensive customer acquisition campaigns. Chapter 8: The Sustainable Future. As 2024 progressed, Alex faced new strategic questions about the business's future direction. The real estate data products had found strong product-market fit, but growth was eventually constrained by the size of the addressable market. How many real estate investors needed off-market data? How many commercial investment funds required custom datasets? The temptation was to expand into adjacent markets, perhaps financial services firms that needed alternative data for investment decisions, or retail companies looking for competitive intelligence. But Alex had learned the value of focus and specialization. Diluting attention across multiple markets might compromise the deep expertise that made the real estate products so valuable. Instead, Alex chose to go deeper rather than broader. New products emerged that served the same core customer base with additional data needs. Property management companies that used off-market data to find acquisition opportunities also needed tenant screening data, market rental analyses, and maintenance cost benchmarks. The expansion strategy was methodical and customer-driven. Rather than building products in isolation and hoping to find customers, Alex worked closely with existing customers to identify their additional data needs and develop solutions collaboratively. This approach ensured product-market fit while strengthening relationships with existing customers. A subscription tier structure emerged that allowed customers to access multiple complementary datasets at different price points. Real estate investors could start with basic off-market opportunity data at $1,200 per month, then upgrade to include rental market analysis, $800 per month additional, and property management benchmarks, $600 per month additional. The tiered approach increased customer lifetime value while providing natural expansion revenue opportunities. Customers who found value in one dataset were natural prospects for related products, and the sales process was much simpler when approaching existing customers rather than acquiring new ones. By the end of 2024, the business was generating over $70,000 in monthly recurring revenue with a team of 4 people: Alex, 2 developers, and a customer success manager. The operation had achieved sustainability while maintaining the flexibility and customer focus that had driven its initial success. Chapter 9: Reflections on the Journey. Looking back on the transformation from corporate employee to successful entrepreneur, Alex recognizes that the journey defied many conventional assumptions about starting a business. The path wasn't linear. The initial strategies often failed, and success came from persistence and adaptation rather than brilliant initial planning. The most valuable lesson was the importance of finding genuine product-market fit rather than forcing a preconceived business model to work. Alex's initial vision of broad, general-purpose datasets serving large markets was economically unviable. Success came from focusing on specific, high-value problems for narrow customer segments, exactly the opposite of the initial approach. Customer acquisition remained the most challenging aspect of the business, even after achieving substantial scale. The high cost and uncertainty of acquiring new customers through paid channels taught Alex to prioritize customer retention, expansion revenue, and referral generation over raw customer acquisition metrics. The transition from technical contributor to business owner required developing entirely new skills. Alex had to learn sales, marketing, customer success, team management, and strategic planning, competencies that weren't developed through years of software development experience. The loneliness and uncertainty of entrepreneurship proved to be ongoing challenges rather than temporary obstacles. Making strategic decisions with incomplete information, dealing with the emotional ups and downs of business performance, and maintaining motivation during difficult periods required mental resilience that Alex continually worked to develop. Despite the challenges, the rewards were substantial and went beyond financial success. The ability to work on personally meaningful projects, to solve real problems for appreciative customers, and to build something valuable from scratch provided satisfaction that traditional employment had never offered. Chapter 10. The road ahead. As Alex looks toward the future, the business continues to evolve and present new opportunities. The foundation of sustainable, profitable operations provides the stability to take calculated risks on new products and markets. Artificial intelligence and machine learning represent the next frontier for data products. Instead of just providing raw information, Alex is exploring ways to deliver predictive insights and automated decision support. What if the off-market property data could predict which opportunities were most likely to be profitable? What if rental market analysis could forecast neighborhood appreciation potential? The regulatory environment around data privacy and web scraping continues to evolve, requiring constant attention to compliance and ethical considerations. Alex has invested significantly in legal guidance and technical measures to ensure that data collection practices remain within acceptable boundaries. International expansion represents another growth opportunity. The methodologies developed for U.S. real estate markets could potentially apply to property investments in other countries. However, each new market would require significant research into local data sources, legal requirements, and customer needs. The most exciting possibility is the potential to build a platform that enables other data entrepreneurs to succeed. Alex's hard-won expertise in web scraping, customer acquisition, and data product development could help others avoid the costly mistakes and false starts that characterize the early stages of the journey. Whatever direction the business takes, Alex remains committed to the principles that enabled its initial success: deep customer focus, relentless pursuit of value creation, and the willingness to adapt when reality doesn't match expectations. The scraper's edge, that competitive advantage created by the ability to extract valuable insights from publicly available information, continues to sharpen. In a world where data becomes increasingly valuable and information asymmetries create profit opportunities, Alex's journey from corporate employee to data entrepreneur represents just the beginning of what's possible. The future remains uncertain, filled with challenges that haven't yet been imagined and opportunities that haven't yet been discovered. But for Alex, that uncertainty is no longer a source of anxiety. It's the raw material from which success is built, one scraped dataset at a time.